a possible shortage of chemotherapy drugs. That is, of course, causing fear nationwide among doctors and cancer patients. Doctors treating cancer patients are now worrying this shortage could lead to widespread rationing. Why the shortage, and what can the government do to help? The Director of National Health Communications for the Office of the Surgeon General and Principal Deputy Assistant Secretary for Health Policy, Dr. Stephanie Haridopolos, joins me. Nice to see you.
Thank you, Greta. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, obviously, when you hear chemotherapy and you hear shortage and you get scared, is it possible that we're having some sort of shortage of chemotherapy drugs?
Listen, first and foremost, when anyone is diagnosed with cancer, my empathetic heart as a physician goes out to them. I don't want them to worry right now. I want them to be rest assured that FDA is doing everything they can to make sure that they will not go without their chemotherapy medications.
Well, they're doing everything they can, but is it a possibility that there is a shortage? Some doctors are saying that, they're spreading out the chemotherapy, which of course sends shivers up my spine because I'm not a doctor, and I think that you better get your chemotherapy on time before it spreads, because then you have a worse problem. Is there some sort of, at least, concern about a possible shortage?
Well, there are a couple of manufacturing plants that maybe had a little hiccup in their manufacturing, but the FDA is working with those manufacturers to make sure that they can do everything they can to increase their supply right now. They are also working with other previous manufacturers that used to make the medication to see if they can restart, and also exploring additional supply for temporary from offshore importing in. So I think that right now the medications are available by the main distributors. And of course, the oncology societies always have protocols and backups for any medications that could be good alternatives. But right now, we still have green light issues with them.
I'll tell you what always scares me, and this goes a little bit broader, is that I've been sitting at this anchor desk for the last 30 years, and sometimes I hear or read that a lot of our drugs are made overseas, and especially in China. And a lot of the drugs, a lot of people need to stay alive. And I worry when drugs are manufactured overseas, because if we make somebody mad at us, we might not get it. Are chemotherapy drugs, are a good portion of them made here in the United States, or are they made overseas? Should I add that list to my list of fear?
It's mixed, and it underscores the need for us to increase our domestic manufacturing, and that's why President Trump has signed some executive orders to do that very same thing, to increase our resiliencies here. But some of them are made overseas, and actually for what just was posted on the FDA with the current ifosfamide, that one, most of them are actually made here in this country. But we're working on, look, they're generics. They've been out for decades. And, it's the cost is not for the pharmaceutical companies and manufacturing. They want, it's a generic med, so they're not making a lot of money. So we need incentives to encourage them to manufacture here on our soil.
And just to sort of put in simple terms, if you're the one making the drug, you can set the price and make a good deal. But if the patent expires and it becomes a generic and everybody's making it, suddenly you're not making the money on it. Yeah. And so suddenly, sometimes you run into a supply issue.
Correct. And so we need to make sure that their manufacturers that are willing to produce the generics have the incentives to do it, that the regulatory framework with FDA is there for them to make it easier, but we can't compromise quality for these medications.
What if you're in some rural community and all of a sudden the oncologist says, we're short, you'll have to come back in 2 weeks? What should the consumer do? Or is that just never going to happen right now? Is it going to happen to anybody?
The hospitals have this is hospital-based medications, and so Amerisource, Cardinal, and McKesson are the three main distributors. Right now, these hospitals are still able to get the carboplatin, cisplatin, ifosfamide. Those are the main ones that we worry about maybe having.
Those are the ones that said they're worried about the shortage in, those very ones you named.
Correct. Those are used for sometimes lymphomas, testicular cancer, or in lung cancers. But right now you are able to get it, and there are also alternative regimens. Like, there are curative treatments and then there's palliative treatments. So curative treatments will always have top priority. and making sure that you get them for, let's say, a testicular cancer with carboplatin.
I hear that immunotherapy, Keytruda, is like unbelievable saving lives. I take it there's no shortage of that one. That's a little different, but because that's still that's not generic yet.
That's right, and that one is not on the FDA website. But we encourage, of course, physicians and hospitals to look at the FDA website. They're the ones that are in control of making sure that we don't see shortages, and accessdata.fda.gov is where that you can find it. Yes.
Doctor, thank you very much. I hope you come back. Thank you.
You're most welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.